Hey guys. So when I first set out to rebuild Cragmaw Castle, I was not interested in doing just a direct one-to-one conversion of this. I wanted something that felt true to Shadowdark. I set out to make something that kind of carried that OSR mindset that I'm just starting to explore and get into, and I hope that this holds true to those principles. So. Cragmaw Castle. I mean, we should all be familiar with this lost mine of Fandelver. I approached it, with kind of fresh eyes. I'm new to OSR, and what drew me to Shadowdark was that philosophy of let the players make choices, cut the handrails, sharpen some of the edges, and give them tools that kind of encourage creativity with no set uses for them. Shadowdark is kind of the perfect system for this. Now it was important to keep many aspects of it recognizable. Cragmaw is still Cragmaw, familiar names, core locales, but they are all moved around. I did use an alternate map. You can get it on Drive Through RPG. I did edit my map. It's got more of that pen and paper vibe to it. The locales are still moved around, but they are present. Many of them are. Many have been changed, expanded, recontextualized. There are new paths, new ways to get around. Choices that reward smart thinking, not just strong rolls. Um, you'll meet some familiar faces. King Groll still stomping about. There's Yegg, Lupo, or all of those are here. Although I've made Lupo a Nilbog as I did in my Lost Mine of Fandelver campaign as well. Now, I did add in some faction tension. Um, in the original, Groll's kind of the big bad, and in this, he's just barely keeping his grip on these goblins, hobgoblins in this tribe. The hobs are not really trustworthy of him right now. The goblins kind of just do their own thing and follow whoever's in charge. I've got a hobgoblin here in the prison cells who refuse to obey orders from King Groll. And the entire tribe is awaiting the return of the hobgoblin warband that is also mentioned in Lost Mine of Fandelver. They make a returning appearance here. And they're waiting for his execution. He wants to use him as an example here. Um, Little does Grohl know that the chances are just as likely that the hobgoblins will overthrow him when they return. Uh, I wanted the NPCs to kind of feel like they had their own goals, so if the players wanted to manipulate any one of them or bribe them or sow chaos, then they had that opportunity. Um, One of my favorite additions to this is the cellar here. Now, the doors are chained shut, warnings on both old and new kind of scrolled across them. There's a basilisk that's been surviving on rats and hobgoblin scraps down here for years. There's no treasure down here. It's an entirely avoidable encounter, all risk, no reward. Um, but someone had better tell Grohl that. He's obsessed that the owners of this castle originally stashed the beast down below to guard some grand hall. He's continuously sending his warriors down to the cellar to try and reclaim it for him. And thus far, none of them have returned. And this is where the conflict with Grohl and the hobgoblins lay. Karn, who is the NPC in the cells, he refused to march to his death for a treasure that no one even knows exists. I tried to lean into the dice rolls here. You can see D6 here, D6 here. In the original, I had Lupo come out and notice the statue had been toppled over, which has been like rebuilt as a replica of him. In this one, it's more of a D6 roll. Is the basilisk sleeping when they arrive down in the cellar? Let's roll a D6. Is Hork the uh, overweight goblin brute with a battle axe eating stew in the kitchen when they arrive? Let's roll a d6. I tried to go into I'm reading up on the principles of OSR. And one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to kind of give them creative tools with no solutions. I wanted to give them tools and no answers. So I've got a bomb in room 3 that Grisbit, the barely sane engineer of the keep, he barely understands it himself. He's missing half his fingers on one hand. They can find him kind of tinkering with the traps here, muttering about that old damn owlbear that keeps sneaking up on all of them. Um, there's a clothesline, I believe, up to the north. Yes, a clothesline of hobgoblin armors that the players could use to impersonate if they wanted to. The faction tension, the basilisk, is there a way to use that? Who knows? The Grick, I believe I have like taming gear or treats somewhere in room 10. I wanted to give them tools that I have no idea how they're going to use them and then let them be creative with it. I think that's very much in my uh, novice understanding of OSR, very core to that playstyle. Um, Now, when it comes to stats, handouts, NPCs, this is I do my NPCs on a index card. I did this as an example, so you can see how my index cards are laid out. I can go ahead and show you my NPC prep here. We've got Grohl and Grisbit. Usually, I'll have like an introduction line on the back. Most of the time, I don't put anything on there. But if I need like a line, an introductory thing, I don't usually write dialogue besides that. I'll write that on the back of the card here. So we've got Grohl and Grisbit, and then we've got Varkesh, who is he's the captain of that Hobgoblin warband. I thought it was a little bit too easy if they just wait for him to come back and then try and get on his good side. So I made it where he only deals with those who are strong. So maybe he's going to make them fight the basilisk to prove themselves, or fight him and a few of his men, or one-on-one, which in Shadowdark is pretty rough. Something of that nature. I'll leave that up to whoever's running it. Lupo, Karn, all these NPCs. I think that's all you'll need. You may not even need 2 or 3 of these while running the actual game. When it comes to the actual monsters, don't worry about the Shadowdark stuff. Oh, that's coming up. I did ripped these from the books, made my own stat sheet for Grohl and the Goblin Brute, and I believe Lupo as well. But usually I'll open the PDF where I bought the rule book, and I'll print screen, and I'll throw it into my Discord, and then I will drag it into this. I could, I can't really give you these. Similar to the map, because they'd be redistributing it, and this is something from the Arcane Library or the map maker that made the original map. Even though I've edited it, it's not mine to give out. But I can show you all of the stats here, and you can kind of make your own notes based off of them. I usually print them on one page, front and back. So there's the front page here. Here is the back. I've thrown in the owlbear, giant wasp that I've thrown into the random encounters. Nilbog, I gave him some interesting spells here. And then, of course, the Grick that I want to hop down on their shoulders at some point. Now, I've definitely customized this to an extent. I was thinking of even having the rafters here, having a room from, room 9 to room 12. So maybe it's like a Boondock Saint-esque crawling through the air vent, and they can look down, because room 12 is stacked. I believe I have 5 hobgoblins in here, or 5 hobgoblins and 2 goblins in here. It's a pretty rough encounter. I tried to go into that. Don't balance these for the players. Do it in spite of them. These places don't exist because they're here. I also have a band in here practicing for the execution with Grohl that I thought maybe, an interesting little encounter. I'll go ahead and I will show you all of the notes I have for this. I have a little introduction made. As far as handouts, I just took the Goblin Bomb from the Shadowdark core rules, magic items, and I added volatile to it. So there's a 1 in 6 chance that it explodes. I'm going to illustrate that to them. That this thing is unstable. He doesn't. I mean, hey, picking it out of that box, it might blow up. You need to be careful. And above table, I'm just going to go ahead and let them know, hey, there's a chance this thing blows up in your hand. If you use this, you are doing it in spite of that. You need to know the risk. Don't surprise them with something like that. I've got Goblin Scribbles here, which is the Doctrine of Lupo, but it is written over a warning of the basilisk in the cellar. talking about also a secret door to the cellar that is in the Duke's chambers that now the uh, King Grohl has taken up. So now they know, hey, there is a creature down there, but maybe if we get through there, we can cut underneath and pop up under this rug. I've made it where Grohl doesn't even know this door is here. So that's another interesting twist that they get to decide how it goes. As far as my GM notes, I was considering the moment they hear about Varkesh and the returning band, probably from Karn, or if they're interrogating Goblin or another Hobgoblin, starting an actual real life 2 hour timer. I may or may not keep that, but I thought it was interesting just to let them know, hey, above table, these guys are going to come home soon, and this is how soon. It's not based on whenever I arbitrarily decide. It's actually dependent on how fast you go, whether you're going to beat them, get out of here before they return. Also reminding myself to let them do things creatively. Here are my random encounters. I think it's called rumors for some reason, but I know that they're random encounters. Here's the information for the cellar. And I'll go ahead and show you every single one of my notes. I created this image as well. The random encounters in Shadowdark are unsafe, risky, and deadly, so I kind of marked these areas so that I can keep track of it. I do have in room 7 and room 12 a schedule on the wall of the guard patrols that will make the hallway no longer deadly. It will make it unsafe. So that kind of gives them a little bit of help there. Here's every single room. And this is Cragmaw Reimagined for Shadowdark RPG. Uh, Familiar bones, but hopefully I have succeeded in making it a little bit more old school. Um, I can't, again, give these maps. I have photoshopped this one, changed a few of the doors around and customized them. So you can buy the original. It'll be a little bit different than the layout I have. But what I can do is show you how to Photoshop these things yourself. I do plan to have a few videos just showing off some basic Photoshop skills for TTRPGs. I'm not, a professional by any means. Everything's self-taught over years of just creating handouts and tweaking maps and doing things of that nature. So I'm definitely going to have a few things in the future for that. And finally, room 12. Now, I hope that anybody who runs this or tries to tweak these original, at this point, classic 5e adventures, I hope this is a good guide. I use the Creating Monster Stat Blocks by Night Noon Games to help create a few of these custom stat blocks, like the Groot, Groot incoming, the Nilbog, and Grohl, as well as the Goblin Brute. So, hope somebody's found this useful, found it interesting. Maybe I'll do a playthrough of this adventure in the future on the channel. I'm not really a streamer or an aspiring streamer. I'm not the greatest GM, but I mean, I have fun with it, and maybe it'll be fun to show it off. Until then, so long.